We've all been to the lake, had that feeling when you're swimming that something is underneath you, watching you, perhaps a fish, perhaps something bigger. When I drew this basilisk for my graphic novel Dragon's Gate, I used reference of the moray eel to craft my monster and give it a unique look. However, that took 15 hours. The one I'm about to draw with you, I'm shooting for 10 minutes. And today, I've got an assistant. But if we're talking about the legends of lake monsters, then that all depends on where you're from. If you're in Scotland, it's the Loch Ness Monster. Lake Placid, New York, maybe a giant crocodile. There's the snake of Lake Erie, the dragon of Superior, the great serpent of Lake Ontario. Here in Utah, near where I grew up, we talk about the Bear Lake Monster. So what does your lake monster look like? Be sure to let us know in the comments. Today we'll try our hand at Nessy, which is believed to resemble something under the genus of Plesiosaur, a Mesozoic marine reptile. But we'll put our own spin on it, perhaps a toxic mutation of the beast to give it some more spunk. Happy swimming. Drawing. We'll start with a diagonal oval, which will be its body. Then with a sprout off the top like a plant from a seed. We'll make a curving shape like a question mark. This will be its neck. At each of the four corners of the oval, we'll draw in some leafy shapes for the fins or wing-like paddles. Some reference there in the upper corner. A crescent moon shape for the tail sweeping around. When you lightly sketch in the major shapes, make sure to leave yourself enough room around the edges on your paper or support. For the head, we'll start with a couple simple teardrop shapes, then better define the jaw and neckline so they flow together. We'll give him some serpentine spiny webs on his back, neck, and tail for good measure. This is, after all, a lake monster, so we can make it whatever we want. A circle or sphere for the eyeball, then we'll wrap the eyelids over and under it. Often in reptiles, there's a thick flap of flesh connecting upper jaw and lower jaw. We'll hint at the underlying skull before we give it some teeth. I'm steering away from actual plesiosaur anatomy and going for more of a python look with the head, so its snout's a bit thicker, more box-even pointed. craft the spines as coming off each of the vertebrae and connecting by a thin skin of webbing. Try to keep the fins looking symmetrical despite their varied positioning. Since we're underwater with this one, we'll blend it out around the edges. Rather than free floating on a white background, sometimes it's nice to give it some shading in the negative space. With the shading, you can be as quick and careless or careful and precise as you like. I'm going for speed here so as not to bore you to death, but if I use this for something like a book illustration, I'll probably go back and give it a little more TLC. You can be a little more loose and sketchy as you move away from the focal points. The last step is simply cleanup and refinement, so we'll speed it up just a bit to show you the finished product and get you on your way. Some like to do all their blending with their fingers or a blending stick, but I prefer a minimal amount of blending and most of it done with lighter, circular movements of the pencil's tip. For a 10-minute sketch, this is pretty close to what I was after, a gnarly, imposing version of the beloved Nessy. Lakegoers beware. But seriously, next time you go swimming and something brushes up against your leg, there's nothing to worry about. It's probably just a water moccasin. We've got some great new artists in our upcoming lineup, so be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and take care. Good job.